when you don't have any local sponsor for a game, for an event like World Cup, forget it. It's like going to be an ordinary program running on TV. It's like, so that's why we had AfriCell to come and support GRTS in bringing all 64 games of the World Cup 2014 to all Gambians.
AfriCell, we are always very proud to be associated with sports. Our leadership, ranging from the owner to the management locally here, they are all big fans of sports. So we're happy to be in partnership with GRTS and to be associated with the help of the President of the Republic of the Gambia, who is also a big sports fan. We appreciate and applaud his efforts in trying to bring sports to where we want it.
Gambians will join the global audience in watching the much-anticipated football tournament, courtesy of significant backing and sponsorship from familiar partners.
The World Cup has ever been the platform for the two, institutions to continue to show the whole world, not only Gambia, what we can do when we partner together as, respectable brands in the country. And I can tell you, I've worked with the AfriCell team, before the last World Cup 2010, and I can see what it takes connecting two people together and for the good of the Gambia. And I believe this time around we will see something different.
Companies should come and partner with GRTS to have such important matches, programs. We alone cannot do it. So I'm appealing to other companies to emulate AfriCell, so that we can have, very interesting programs on GRTS.
The partnership between the telecommunication giants and GRTS to show the World Cup, according to AfriCell's media consultant, which further enhances the efforts of the company in supporting sports development in the country. Putting up the deal to secure the sponsorship, Musa Sise added, has been backed by the commitment of GRTS and AfriCell.
The World Cup is the single most watched sports in the world. It's the biggest. And to have AfriCell associated with bringing this game to the Gambian populace just shows you AfriCell's, perseverance and, of course, efforts in trying to get whatever it is that is sports and its progress and its development in this country to the people.
It is time to come and support GRTS. AfriCell has done its bit. Everyone else should come and support. All businesses should come and support. There are still sports that are left to be sold. And if you want to be part of this exciting event, which is going to be 64 games, all live on TV, GRTS, come and support GRTS.
The World Cup is the greatest football show on earth, and for GRTS to secure the rights to show the 64 games through the support of President Jammeh, and AfriCell goes to show the institution's commitment to providing its extreme views of quality service. Rohibite, GRTS.
That story by Rohibite takes us to our first break, but we'll be back with news from outside the Gambia.
Shop, the best in town, has the latest.
Welcome back. Tensions continue to rise in the capital of the African Republic, a day after a dozen Christians, among them a priest, were killed by suspected Seleka rebels. Hundreds of angry Christian youth took to the street to denounce the killings and swear revenge. Many of them attacked and destroyed a mosque in an apparent show of hostility towards the minority Muslim population who have come under attack since the collision to Seleka rebels seized power. We have more in this CFI report.
Fires were set on fire and barricades set up to block many roads in Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic. Tension is rising as Christians destroyed and pillaged a mosque to express their anger. They also took to the streets of Bangui to take part in a peaceful march against the ex-Seleka rebels.
It's too much. The Central African people were massacred by the Seleka coalition. They continue to be massacred by mercenaries. People are being kidnapped. Only yesterday, several dozen people were kidnapped, despite being protected by Burundian soldiers from MISCA.
International peacekeeping mission soldiers took position in tension-filled, mostly Muslim neighborhoods. MISCA deployed to the Central African Republic's capital are trying to prevent Christians from attacking Muslims in retaliation for the attack against a church on Wednesday in the center of the city.
What happened yesterday caused everything to spill over. We can't put up with it any longer. It's not just because a priest died. The death of any Central African should move us.
At least 15 people, including a priest, were killed and around 30 wounded in the attack on the church. Central African Republic President Catherine Samba-Panza was on a 2-day visit to Congo-Brazzaville, but she chose not to comment on the increase in violence between Christians and Muslims in her country.
The UN Refugee Agency is calling on the international community to commit more resources to help thousands of displaced people living in camps in South Sudan. In one camp on the banks of the White Nile, more than 100,000 displaced civilians are living in appalling conditions, with many exposed to diseases such as cholera. The overcrowded camps lack basic services, with many more families still arriving to seek shelter from the 6-month-old conflict that gripped Africa's newest state. We have details of that in this report.
This is Minkaman on the banks of the White Nile, with its overcrowded camps for the displaced. More than 100,000 people live here, and every day new families arrive. They lost everything they had in the recent fighting between the army and the opposition forces. NGOs try to provide assistance to the displaced persons, but there isn't enough food to feed them all.
To the international community to support as soon as possible with the funds, because the IDPs in Minkaman, they are in a very bad situation, and if rainy season comes, the roads will be blocked, the assistance cannot be deployed to the population, and they will be starving.
Clean water is reserved for the most vulnerable. Rebecca fled from Bor when violence began with her 6 children and her 2-month-old granddaughter. Living at the camp is already difficult, but the rain and the stagnating floodwater don't help either. People dump garbage in the water and it starts to smell. We're worried that the children and I might get sick. There are mosquitoes here as well. Relief workers have dug out wells and built additional latrines, but the camp is saturated. It's no longer possible to meet the people's basic needs.
The first problem is the lack of proper latrines. The rains have made things much worse. My children have to walk very far just to go to the toilet. I'm very concerned about their safety.
Another very dangerous enemy is cholera. Highly contagious, the waterborne disease is already spreading at the capital, Juba. There is urgent need for funds to keep it under control. According to the United Nations, South Sudan needs $2 billion in humanitarian aid. Barely 500 million have been raised so far.
We now take our second break. Weather is next. Time now to join the Central Forecast Office for an update of the weather report.
And from there, everything follows. And for those those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability